What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wars in the Stars, episode 46 of the pod.
Yeah,
Today is going to be an episode 4 review of Hawkeye. Alex is back. Alex has COVID. Alex has a birthday tomorrow. He has an eventful life going on right now. How's it going, buddy? We haven't talked in a little bit, so how's it going?
yeah, we haven't. I was out last week. Your friend Derek covered for me, so God send to him.
Shout out
Uh,
Derek. Shout out my guy D-Vic there.
yeah, I'm out with the COVID. I feel fine. I'm vaccinated, so it hasn't hit me that bad. Trying to not be in such shit lighting. Um, so yeah, I'm just kind of here making the best of what I can. Can't really go anywhere. So out for school, and then just been working, as you can see, on my Iron Man suit.
At least you get a lot of time to work on that. It's kind of like the summer now. You get to just spend time and just like do your
Yeah,
own thing. So
I actually met on the Avengers game. I met a lot of really nice people. That's what I'll actually be spending my birthday doing, is doing this raid that came out for it. So I'll be
didn't they
spending.
add new suits to the game for Spider-Man? I saw or something like that, right? They added the
No,
integrated suit.
no, that's for the game or the PS4 and 5 game. I think only for the
Okay,
PS4, but yeah, that's how I'll be spending most of my day tomorrow is on the raid. So I'll be basically off the internet for 10 hours. I can't wait for
awesome,
it.
awesome.
How you been?
Uh, yeah. So obviously I haven't really posted on my own TikTok in a while. I've kind of been promoted and doing my own sports podcast. It's been doing really well on my Twitch over there. I go check it out at Hammy Demand. We have a great time and stuff talking about my local area high school sports and pro sports. But before we get into Hawkeye, Alex, I want to get your kind of thoughts. It's kind of been a weird time, at least for me. Like, I'm just not really excited for anything except No Way Home. The Book of Boba Fett I'm excited for, but it's just been like a waiting game, and I feel like it's kind of gotten to me that I've waited this long. Um, it's
I
just weird. It's a weird time, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the thing is you would think with all of this stuff going on, we'd be like so excited, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this, and I can't wait for that, and I can't wait for this. Honestly, though, like, I'm not very excited for the Book of Boba Fett. I'm not very excited for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I'm really only excited for Hawkeye and Spider Man right now. I'm sure when the Multiverse of Madness press starts, I'm gonna like start getting excited, which apparently I've been hearing rumors of a trailer potentially coming out here soon. So
Well, the rumor is right now that the trailer's done, so maybe I wouldn't be surprised. Um, yeah, because we
yeah,
are 6 months out from the movie, so it'd be ideal to see it for the first time. So that would make sense. But yeah, I agree, man. Like, I'm excited. Like, the Book of Boba Fett had a teaser today come out.
I saw.
It was a good
Eh,
teaser.
I'm just like honestly, I wish I was more excited for Book of Boba Fett. I'm just not. I don't know
You
why.
didn't like you didn't like the seismic charges going bow,
No,
bow, just the whole time in the background. Bow.
I just like I wish I was more excited because like I love Boba Fett. I mean, who doesn't? Especially after the Mandalorian season 2, who doesn't?
Right.
But it's just like with Marvel right now, dude, they're killing it. Like I'm loving Hawkeye right now. Um,
I think we're gonna disagree on this episode a
I
lot then.
know I told you in the TikTok DMs to shut the fuck up respectfully. So I
Um,
know we disagree.
but uh, Yelena, the beloved of my life, showed up in this episode. Can we just say that first
Yeah,
off?
dude. Which I
Excited.
mean, I wish we got her like teased like we got Maya teased. Like, oh, who's this person with the mask? And nope, she just showed up in the middle of or at the end of the episode, and it was
I
Yelena,
knew it
bro.
was her right away. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh
I, I heard
shit,
from the
it's
I heard from the grunt. I was like, oh my gosh, that
yeah,
was the grunt of Florence Pugh.
yeah, yeah. Um, and I actually okay, so just we'll give overall thoughts. This is okay. So my problem with the show so far is its pacing. Okay, it's a slow burn. Okay, it
Really?
is. So
You,
My thing with it is like I understand the first two episodes are a lot of expository stuff. Episode 3 is by far my favorite episode. It's short, it's compact, it gets to the point. I said that last week. I really liked it. I like the teases of uh, Fisk and Kingpin. I liked Maya Lopez in that episode. I liked the Trick Arrow stuff with the Pym Arrow. I mean, I loved all of that stuff because it focused on Hawkeye. Okay, the show is at its best when it focuses on that. Listen, I like Haley Steinfeld. I like the character of Kate Bishop, but it feels like we set up this whole thing with Jack and Eleanor, and just like as the episodes go on, we just keep getting away from that, and we just keep adding more shit on top of stuff we already know. We have what do we have, Alex? We have the Jack thing. We have the Rolex. Now we have
Um,
Yelena. We still have Kingpin out there.
Come
Um,
on, we have Maya, we have the tracksuits.
we have
It
too
is.
much stuff to complete in 2 episodes. I feel like the
I will say,
pacing's
I
just been
will say
off for
this.
me.
I feel like though a lot of the stuff is like so connected that it kind of helps that there is a lot. The thing that I want to say is that this show is always going to be basically my favorite due to my love for Hawkeye, especially when reading the comics as the show is going on. It's really helped with the viewing experience. Um, and I will also say, like, that you're not, as far as I'm aware, you're not doing that like I am. Um, but it's also a thing that, like, this is my favorite character. And I know you felt this way about Loki when Loki was coming out. Like, everything bad that people were saying, like, you were probably eating up. And that's how I kind of feel it is with this show. I thought this episode, out of every single episode of any of the shows that we've had on Disney Plus, I thought this was the best episode. I thought
Wow.
I thought the dialogue was on point. I thought the story was on point. I thought the emotion was on point. I thought all of it was just awesome in this episode.
Yeah.
And this episode had one of my favorite conversations of any MCU story of all time um, with him telling about him taking in Natasha.
Oh yeah, right. I saw something in her, yeah. And I love the parallels in this episode. I will say that when Kate's like pull me up and he lets go.
Yeah,
Um kind of like how he does in Endgame, right, with Natasha where she says let go and like he reluctantly does it, I guess you could say. Um
I don't know who Natasha is. I know who Splatasha is.
oh man. But I will say, Alex, just to get to your point, there to kind of combat what you're saying. I like the show. It's better than WandaVision. To me, it's something about it that I'm not loving. And I know you weren't a huge fan of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked it, I think, a lot more than you did. I think I like it a lot more than most people did. So I kind of maybe overrate it more than most people. But I, the most emotionally impactful thing in this episode to me was the Elena showing up, and it kind of still fell flat for me. It felt
That
kind
was
of like
that's what you thought the most emotional
no,
part
no, no.
was?
Besides that scene where he talks, where we see the PTSD again, and he talks about his past, but that was supposed to be the big Bane moment. Like, oh, it's Yelena. Oh crap, she's in the picture now, and it just fell flat for me. And
Nah,
it's
I
like
mean, I disagree. I disagree because I think of his line that when he said everything just got real so fast. Because like he was like, the thing is I don't think Clint knows that Yelena is Natasha's sister.
oh, definitely not.
He just knows that she's a Black Widow, and that's just something or he knew, and associated Natasha with Natasha. So that to me is like I just really liked it, and I think again the big thing to me was the whole of him and Kate bonding. I thought was really sweet, really nice. Um, but I don't know. There is one general complaint that I have, and that is that his wife is okay with him being Ronin. Like it sounds like she was avidly supporting his decision to do it. Like, and she's even helping him out with the mission.
Right.
So it's just like you would feel like the thing that he told Natasha that he wanted to die for, so his parents or his family didn't have to see him like that, would not be something that he would just be like, celebrating with his wife.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I get that. But yeah, Alex, it just I understood why it happened, right? Because the post-credit scene of Black Widow, but it
Yeah,
felt kind of out of left field with the show, and maybe that was its intention. But it's like we really didn't set it up within the show itself. It's just like, oh shit, you remember the Black Widow post-credit scene? Here it is right now. Here it
yeah.
is right in front of you. We haven't set it up at all. Here it is.
But
Yeah, I know we've been to.
I feel like though that like I don't think we needed to set up because here's the thing for me is
And by
that
the
like
way, I don't mean to interrupt you. I think that's the only time we see her.
I don't. I
Because
think
based off of rumors, people said she's only in one episode and it's brief. And if that's it, that was lame. That was flat. I know there's gonna be stories down the line with it, but
mhm.
really, she doesn't have a line of dialogue and she turns and looks at Kate and then jumps off of a bridge. Really? That's all, or a building? That's all you're gonna do? It didn't work for me, Alex, and I want to hear why it worked for you.
I think just because I'm a little bit more optimistic that we're gonna get more of her. It just to me would not feel right to see her in one thing again with such a small part. For me personally, also, I don't think Yelena's thing was a huge thing for me just because I wasn't like I love Yelena and all that, but she's just not like that for me. Like she is for others. I think the big takeaway was this was the bonding episode between Clint, and I thought that was the best part of the episode. And I think it worked the best.
And I got to agree with that. I think the strong suit of the show, excuse me, is the whole adoptive or like adopted family, the whole idea of a family, right? So one of the reasons why I love Clint's story in Age of Ultron is because it deals with his family. I think that's
Yeah,
when Clint's story is at its best, and I think that's when the show is at its best when it deals with Clint's family. One of my favorite moments from episode 3 is the phone call he has with Nathaniel when he doesn't have the hearing aid, and he's having that conversation with him, even though we can't hear his voice. And I loved that. It was just an emotional scene. I loved how like Kate's almost like his daughter now, right? Kate is an adult, but like she's a child. She acts like a child. So like
yeah,
I love that scene they have where it's the aunt, I believe, right? It's Kate Bishop's aunt's place, right? I think
yeah,
she says. Yeah, or something like that. And they have the Christmas marathon, and then I think this was a perfect way of doing it. Alex it establishes her as capable. Um, she deducts that he's Ronin. I like
yeah.
that, and I think it worked for me. And
I did.
uh,
I did too. I was really worried that we could get like because I didn't want the typical someone's gonna like tell her that it's that he was Ronin because again I would have just thought of Arrow in that time. I would have thought, oh my gosh, this was like the Deathstroke telling Laurel that Oliver's the Arrow. It would have been too predictable. It would have felt like, oh my gosh, I've seen this before. I don't want to see it again, especially when it comes to an archer. But that no, it was Kate figured it out on her own, and Clint was straight up honest with her about it.
and it would have been the trope of like, oh, mentee learns mentor has bad past. Mentee is upset with mentor for lying. Mentee leaves, and then mentor comes back, or mentee goes back to
Yeah,
mentor. So like, I kind of like how they avoided that trope, right?
yeah.
And I love Clint's response. Like you were saying, like he's like, yeah, I was Ronin. It was a dark time in my life, and he talks about
He even
yeah,
said he was like, people dealt with the blip differently. I was just
yeah.
like, well, you certainly dealt with it in your own way.
Right, you certainly took the coping mechanism to the extreme. I don't think your therapist would be too happy with you, but
I don't think I've ever just kind of just been like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty down. I've been sick in bed with COVID. I think I should just go kill a bunch of people.
yeah, I'm gonna be a vigilante and just kill bad guys across the world, and with the sword.
Yeah, but like I understand though, like um, I thought it was really good that Kate was not like, oh, I hate you now. You're a bad person. You did bad things. She was just like, well, to a degree, I understand. But yeah, I did. I really like that. Again, she was just not like, oh, how could you do such a horrible thing? I'm out of here.
Right, right. And
You know,
oh,
hey,
go
go ahead.
ahead. Keep going. No,
You
you keep
go.
going.
You go. You
You go.
go.
You go.
My leg is bleeding, so you go.
Okay, I'll go. And I kind of also like what they do at the end of the episode where it's like Clint decides he wants to break it off, right? Like
Yeah.
Clint, because we see at that moment, like Clint knows when shit hits the fan. He's like, I'm dealing with a deadly assassin that is like the adoptive child of Kingpin, who presumably in the show has been talked about as the key behind all of this. Kazi talks about it. Um, and then we have Yelena, who is a widow, a black widow, which are one of the more deadly assassins on the planet. And
Yeah.
she could have killed Clint. I'm telling you, I don't think she wanted to kill Clint. I think she
No,
wanted to send a warning sign.
I do too. I also got the impression that she probably didn't want to have him like killed or something. So I'm glad. I'm good. I'm glad I'm not the only person who got that.
So, cause like she could have ended him right there when she uses the zapper thing. She could have
Yeah.
yeeted him off of the roof, and he's
But not
dead.
only that, we know those widow bites can be set to kill someone. That widow and Black Widow killed herself with it.
Right,
I
right.
mean, she didn't kill herself, Dreykov, but whatever.
And it was
Um,
like and it was really weird to me at first, that scene, because I'm like, Yelena and Maya are working together. I'm like, what's going on? And then I
no,
see Yelena like punch Maya in the face. I'm like, oh, okay, so we just have tons of shit going wrong here, which I
yeah.
liked. But again, like I was saying, it just felt out of left field that Yelena was
But
in it.
you know what else has been going on? People have been saying, you know that arrow that Kate uses that like flings everyone back? Bro, I've
Okay,
been
yeah,
seeing so many people saying, "Oh my gosh, that's my new favorite trick arrow." It's just like that's the most like basic trick arrow of all time.
just pushes
Like,
someone back.
because last episode was the episode about trick arrows mostly. What's your favorite trick arrow?
The pin arrow.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that falls the basicness right there. I really like the putty arrow or the what's it called? Just because of how funny it was, the USB arrow.
Right.
Which, by the way, bro,
We see in
someone
What If.
no, someone even mentioned, and again, as someone who does archery and whatnot, that arrow still should have killed Ivan. I mean, regardless of what, if it was a USB tip or not, the velocity of that should have killed him, and it bounced off of him.
Right. Yeah.
My prediction is my man is a super soldier.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
There's no way something like that can just bounce.
Also, I think the funniest line in this episode is like Kate's like, "You need boomerang arrows." He's like, "Boomerang arrows."
Yeah, poor Kate, bro. Clint
Kate's like,
always just
Kate's like, "You may need to dodge it once or twice, but they'll be efficient." Imagine having boomerang arrows. You just shoot people, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, you just got
yeah.
it.
Can you just like imagine like an acid arrow being shot at you, but it's a boomerang? Like, oh yeah, come on, Kate.
So, okay, I want to get your thoughts on this since you're the archer expert. And I kind of want you go on a little tangent here. So, I know my guy Element Seven's been talking about archery a little bit. I've been seeing you in his comment sections talking about it. So, what do you
Yeah.
think what was done for archery, or just like what do you think? Do you think it's a better archery show than Green Arrow? Because I haven't watched Green Arrow in forever. So, like, which show do you think
Okay.
does a better job of like explaining the
So
art
I
of
think
archery?
I think Hawkeye has done the better job with archery. However, I prefer Oliver's way of archery. With Oliver was very straight up and just killed people with it. And that's not the aspect I'm talking about. I'm thinking the aspect of archery that I like is Oliver learning archery and like if you remember in the earlier seasons, he's taught the bowl method of pulling your bowstring back, where you're slapping the water, and he's talking to Shadow, who teaches him. He's like, "Oh, this is so pointless. This isn't teaching me how to shoot a bow and arrow." Then he gets the realization of, "Oh, I'm building up the arm strength to actually pull the bow back." Because when you're a novice to archery, no matter the length or the bow strength, you're gonna have a hard time pulling it back.
Right.
And I thought that was a really awesome way to show it. And I think, however, Hawkeye showed the more, ins and out of it. Like
Okay.
Clint's just absolute pinpoint accuracy um, than Hawkeye. Now, granted, Arrow is an 8-season show that displayed, 8 seasons of Oliver's, you know, shooting ability with a bow and arrow.
Right. And
And
you could see
Hawkeye's
his progression a lot better, right? Because you have more time with him. So yeah.
yeah. But I also just think Hawkeye just is doing a better Arrow that, like, it has one of my things that kind of bugged me about um, Arrow. It's like it kind of did answer the question. How do you know the difference between the arrows when when you're in the quiver? Because like in the case of Oliver, the arrows are just put back there. At least with Clint's quivers, he was able to know which tip was on it
Right.
because he at least could rotate it and know which one. But yeah, I would just say that, like, I don't know. I really like that I'm sorry. Hawkeye has really shown the ins and outs um of archery, like, the the precision that comes along with it. However, I just prefer seeing the fast paced archery of Arrow. Also, Hawkeye and Clint's bows in this are Kate and Hawkeye's bows are just like boring compared to Oliver's bows, in my opinion. So,
I feel
and,
that. I feel that.
and Oliver, I think, has just better trick arrows than them. Like, he has a magnet trick arrow that took a bunch of guys' guns away from them.
That is true. That is true. Um, okay. I want to get into this now. The Rolex. Whose Rolex is it?
I, for some reason, don't know why. I had this weird feeling it was Natasha's for a moment. Like, that's why he feels so, like, into it. But then I was just like, well, wait, that wouldn't make sense because if, like, Natasha's cover is blown, why would it matter if he's, like, Splitasha now? So I think
Well, she's Bone
potentially.
Tasha at this point, just Bone.
Oh, yeah, true. I think, honestly, I heard a lot of theories about this, and I agree, honestly, with this one. I think it's Scroll Nick Fury. Talent.
Okay. I don't know why. I thought about it at first, and I'm like, why did I think that? I thought Tony.
Yeah,
So,
that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
well, and I originally thought that because I'm like, who else, like, that Clint is close to would wear a Rolex? I'm just like, Tony would be rolling up in a Rolex with just like a Rolex that just turns into a.
Or Steve. Go back in
Yeah,
time with the Rolex to have a nice outfit with Pig.
I
Outfit
could.
outfit with Peg. God, COVID has just like scrambled my brain.
I think it's. I heard Nick Fury. I heard Daredevil.
I don't know about Daredevil.
That wouldn't win. I feel like it's
Here's my
okay.
problem.
So
Okay?
what's the Nick Fury theory? I want to hear this. I heard about it, but what is the theory?
One of the major parts of the theory is that it's Talos' watch, and if someone found out how it was connected to him, it would tell people that, oh my gosh, there's shapeshifters on Earth. Hence the secret invasion.
I could see that.
By the way,
Well,
what's it come out next year or 2023?
it's filming now, probably. Well, I don't know what Marvel's doing, right? I don't know what's coming out first, either She-Hulk or Moon Knight. I think a Secret Invasion's probably a safe bet for next year, if not early 2023. So I could see it being set up.
Okay.
Daredevil, I heard, and it kind of made sense to me. Like, if you were to make Daredevil, like, according to somebody, it is still canon on TikTok. I won't say names here. Um, but whatever you think about it, I don't care either way. If Daredevil were to be canon to the MCU, you could say Daredevil's been out of the game for 5 years, and that's his Rolex. But how would Clint know who Daredevil is? How would that? You would have to have that make some sense. It would make
Yeah, and
sense if
also,
Fisk is after it because of Daredevil, right?
yeah,
Um,
and also it's a thing of like, okay, well, if um if it is related to Daredevil, why would it blow his cover? Why would a
Right.
simple Rolex blow his cover? And also, if this is my thing, if the Daredevil TV show is still canon, where has Daredevil been for like the whole MCU? Where was he during the Battle of Earth? Where was he during the Battle of Wakanda or something? Like, where was he? If it's not canon, it's not. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
I have a hard time seeing that. And I've been seeing people like this person made a video like, "Oh, Kingpin's coming back, so that must mean or Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back." So he's like, "Oh, it must be canon to the MCU," and then he tried to strawman his way out of it, try to talk his way out of it, tongue in cheek, whatever. He does that all the time. But it's like that's just because an actor's coming back to play the same character doesn't necessarily mean he's playing that character. Tom Hiddleston played what, 3 Lokis? He's
Yeah,
played 3 different Lokis technically. Um, so yeah, like so that's not an argument. So like that doesn't make sense to me. And with so we've kind of ruled out the fact me and Derek were talking about it last week that Val and Kingpin could be working together. That's kind of out of the door now because Yelena's obviously not tied to Maya at all. Okay, so Val's not working with Kingpin. There's still a lot of questions I have. Who owns Avengers Tower? I'm starting to think it's either Oscorp or it's Val.
I don't think it's Oscorp. And here's my big reason for it not being Oscorp. While Sony and Marvel do have a working relationship, in the event that that were to fall out, that would leave huge problems. Uh, so I could almost guarantee that Sony would not want to even risk um, having something like Oscorp in there.
Okay,
But
that's fair. But I think that would make a great. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but going on that would be a great end credit scene to No Way Home. Is Peter
yeah,
going to college? And I saw this on TikTok. I don't know who said it, but Peter going to college, and then all of a sudden it's the dad of his roommate, and it's Norman Osborn of the MCU with Harry Osborn, kind of introducing those cast of characters into Peter's second trilogy. But anyways, to get back to Hawkeye, so Val and Kingpin are connected. Kingpin is obviously the leader of the Tracksuit Mafia. What does Kingpin want with this Rolex? What like you would have to explain. Eh,
yeah.
I don't get it. If Val and Kingpin were connected, I think it'd make a lot more sense because it would make sense why Val would want a Rolex that's tied to Nick Fury, tied to the Avengers. Why does Kingpin want something from the Avengers? Do you have like an idea about that?
I know. My whole thing though is sorry, I'm oh
You're
stressing out
scrambling.
over no, I'm stressing out over a file for my Iron Man suit. Sorry. Um my whole thing with this is I can guarantee you first of all the resale value of almost anything that remains from Avengers Compound is probably worth millions.
Probably
Ro-
billions.
Let alone, a Rolex. But
Right.
I don't know. There is I don't know why it would be connected to almost anyone, if you want my honesty here. Because I'm trying to think, like, Clint was again describing it as, like, oh, if someone were to get it, oh, so and so would be, like, exposed or whatever.
Right.
Whatever. But, like, who?
I think the
Who?
Nick Fury one makes the most sense, but like
I do too,
why
but
would
it's like,
why would Kingpin be after like why? I'm just trying to figure out the why. And I have faith Feige and them will be able to explain it. Um
yeah.
well Peter's name's already out there, right? So it can't be Peter. But why would Peter have a role like I don't know. I'm just trying to think rattle off a name so who's close to Clint.
Why would the
Uh
prodigy of Tony Stark have a Rolex? Why
it's
not?
about
That's
the drip, Spider-Man. It's about the drip.
spider drip, bro.
It's about the drip. You either drip or drown, Spider-Man. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know who it's connected to.
Dude,
Um,
also, I know, I'm not trying to go too off or too far off,
oh, it's
bro.
fine.
Are we? I rewatched Spider-Man 3 after I said I would. Bro, I gotta say my least favorite part about that entire trilogy, and go ahead, give me the weird looks. I'm waiting for it. Mary Jane Watson was awful in that trilogy.
Oh,
She
she's
made
the worst MJ by far. I don't disagree with that. No, I
she
don't
made
disagree with that.
you know when Goblin dropped her and was like, now choose. I was going back. I wish she would have died.
Oh my god.
I wish she would have died.
She's a dick, bro. She cheated on Peter, cheated on
No,
everyone. And
Peter is like trying to like in Spider-Man 3, I believe. Yeah. He's trying to like condole her and whatnot, trying to be there for her. Be like, this isn't about you. Well, he wasn't making it about him.
right.
He was trying to help. He was trying to, make a good comparison so you don't feel bad.
Right.
No, yeah, she's a
Did you
horrible
like
person.
Spider-Man 3 overall though? No. 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 You
Do
don't
you
like it?
consider a 6 out of 10 a good score?
Wait, so if you were to put it in MCU terms, put it in MCU terms. Do not
If
say
this,
if you
if this was an MCU movie, bro, my faith in the MCU might have been shattered at that moment.
you think it's that. Why do you say that?
Dude, everyone is saying, "Oh my gosh, Sandman was the one of the best parts of that movie, bro. He was easily one of the most forgettable parts of that movie for me."
I not Venom?
No, Venom was a whole other story I can talk about how bad that was.
Oh, that was terrible. If they just had Sandman as the main villain, I would have liked it a lot more, and Harry. But like Venom, just like that did
Yeah,
not feel like Venom.
it's another thing where it's just like everyone's just like, "Oh my god, Sandman's story is just so, it's so heartbreaking." It's just like, but it's not. He shot someone, and it's his fault for having the gun in his hand at that time.
Oh, right, absolutely, yeah.
No
Oh, yeah,
sympathy there. No sympathy for me.
right. No, I feel that. I feel that.
Oh no,
I
I
get that.
killed someone with the gun that I had in my hand.
Oh my god! But my daughter.
But my exactly. But my daughter, have sympathy. His daughter. He's a family man.
Yeah, he's a
Uh,
family man who's now a Sandman. So, yeah,
it,
good for her.
it was just like, ugh.
I'm guessing you didn't like Harry either in this movie, or did you?
Actually, kind of did.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot more than what I thought I was going to.
I'm ruined. All I have left is Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was just
And also,
well,
well, you also have to admit, Alex, Spider-Man 3 is kind of like Revenge of the Sith, the prequels, where it's just a meme movie at this point. We're just
yeah.
like,
The Tobey
everything's just a
Maguire
meme.
stuff was so good. Like when he's in the mirror and he's like roughing up his hair. I was just like, oh yes, work it. You got it. Go you.
You want forgiveness?
Get
Get
religion.
religion.
And
I
then
love when Eddie
every
Brock literally goes to church and he's like,
yeah,
I want to kill Spider-Man.
yeah. It's also something that's just like, although I knew it happened in the movie, I don't know why it caught me off guard when he hit MJ. I started laughing. I started laughing, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm a bad person.
Oh, man.
I don't condone wham and abuse. Okay,
No.
I don't condone it. I just think it's partially funny." I'm just
Well,
gonna need to
thank God our my sports podcast says way worse stuff than that. So
I'm gonna have to take my time stone. Let's go back in time real fast.
oh
Look at that. I got all the Infinity Stones.
yes.
What's Billy Maguire gonna do against all this? Oh shit! That it? Bang! No, but literally almost after I saw the movie, bro, just the entire time when I went to go play the Avengers game after that, or because I was playing I was doing a replay of the PS4 Spider-Man. Every time I would knock an enemy off the building, bro, I would always just say, "See ya, chump." Every single time.
All right.
Oh,
To get back to Hawkeye, There's one more thing I gotta ask you about. So I've been disappointed by this whole Jack and Eleanor arc, right? We kind of ended episode 3 with Jack holding the sword up. I thought they were gonna do something cool. We ultimately end up finding out that Jack is funding the tracksuit mafia, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Basically, yeah.
And Eleanor is just a dickhead who talked about Natasha like right in front of Clint, and I'm just like, Clint, throw this woman off of that nice mansion. Throw that woman away.
Okay.
Um, But yeah, I'm not a big fan of this Jack thing. They set it up in the first 2 episodes and it's kind of fallen flat for me. Like they were kind of setting up Jack to be somewhat of a competent swordsman, and I thought they were gonna go the route of, oh, he's gonna
Also,
fight Clint.
like I will say before I got to it, there was more new Ronin footage in this episode.
Right, there was.
New. Honestly, dude, after last week, everybody I'm pretty sure is on board with the theory that the Ronin that we saw kill Maya's dad was Jack. I don't think it anymore.
I wasn't on that theory. I was on the theory that Jack was once a Ronin and mentored Clint.
Maybe my whole thing though is like,
But that's definitely not the case now. It's just
yeah,
Jack's rich guy who's decent with swords. Like it will probably come back like in the last episode. Kate will fight him with maybe the Ronin suit she puts on, and like she doesn't she adopt it in the comics?
Kate.
Yes.
No, someone else does.
Okay. Wasn't she Ronin once in the comics though?
No,
I feel
no,
like she was.
he was not.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong that. But I'd like her to adopt the Ronin and kind of change what its purpose is.
No, no, no. I honestly think um I think honestly, here's my thing. I think Clint should become Ronin again, and then we
But
should get
change it, but like adopt its purpose or like or
no.
adapt its
Then
purpose.
we should get um uh then we should get a Arrow-esque show of him being Ronin. That'd be badassery.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I doubt they're gonna go that route.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, but anyways, this whole Jack thing just like really fell flat for me. Like I thought they were setting up as a competent swordsman. Like not like I'm not even upset at the fact like he's not Clint's mentor, like the theory we had, but like the fact that he's just he's the rich guy funding the tracksuit mafia. That's
So
it.
I looked it up right now. So in the comics, the first person to actually be Ronin was not Clint. It was Maya. It was Maya Lopez. She was the
Okay.
original Ronin. Then Clint took on the moniker. Then Alexei Shostakov, aka the Red Guardian, took it
Right.
on. Then Eric Brooks, and then Bullseye.
Yeah, Bullseye makes sense. Um,
I don't
yeah,
know.
so
That's weird that Maya was Ronin
right. Oh,
first.
oh, Bullseye goes in the suit right to frame Hawkeye, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that what happens? Is there a storyline about that?
Clint becomes Ronin once more to launch an attack on the Hood's criminal empire. The Hood eventually hires Bullseye to find out Ronin's true identity. After learning that Clint is Ronin through his associates, the Hood then orders Bullseye to commit crimes dressed as Ronin in the Ronin costume to ruin Clint's reputation.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I doubt they're gonna introduce Bullseye. So, anyways, yeah, Jack thing kind of been disappointing. Let's make predictions for episode 5. So we're definitely seeing Kingpin next episode. Um,
I think he'll
I
be. I think he'll be set up for a potential season 2.
Okay, I think we're definitely seeing him. And what type of role? I'm not sure. Maybe it's kind of like a Palpatine thing where he's just giving Kazi directions or like guidance or Maya guidance or something like that on
No,
what to do.
heard.
I don't think we actually see him fight or anything like that.
You didn't get my reference, and that made me really sad.
I didn't hear you. You kind of cut out. What did you say?
I said somehow Kingpin has returned.
Yeah. Nah,
Do you understand my reference?
I understood that reference.
What was the reference?
It was Poe in The Rise of Skywalker who said, somehow Palpatine returned. And it's the biggest meme from that movie that's full of memes.
Yeah.
They fly now?
Sorry.
They fly now.
Sorry. Side discussion. I saw this video on TikTok, bro, of this guy who's still upset that Rey used Force Lightning in The Rise of Skywalker, bro. Oh my goodness. I was having
Listen,
like
I just totally forgot that The Rise of Skywalker was a movie until we just started talking about it.
oh, I just like I'm gonna say this now, okay? If you still need an explanation of how she was able to use Force Lightning in that moment, you don't understand how the Force works. I'll
Or you
gatekeep
just
that.
didn't pay attention to the explanation they have in the movie. Like right there. I think they literally talk about it right after it happens.
Yeah, she literally said that she lost control.
Right. Literally how it happens. Just like how she explains how she healed the worm snake thing. It's literally in a line of dialogue. She's like, oh,
Not only
force
that,
healing.
also Count Dooku learned it the same way. Like the exact same way, by the way. Different circumstances, like he wasn't trying to pull a shit from someone, but he learned it just out of pure anger.
Right.
Oh, it makes me mad. I hate people.
And I assume Palpatine did the same thing. He probably learned it like out of like pure anger. It's probably a repeated characteristic. But anyways, Alex, you got predictions for episode 5?
Morulena, Clayton. Oh my fuck.
Clayton. Clayton. Clayton
Kate
Martin.
and Flynn team up again, start teaming up again. Um, and I think next episode could potentially, I'm not going to put all my eggs in this basket, be the first time we see MCU Kingpin.
I'm putting my eggs in the basket.
Really.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
It's kind of crazy. Next week, Spider-Man No Way Home comes out, bro.
It's been like
better just get over this.
it's been so long, man. It's been so long. It's been such a long wait, and we're gonna get in.
Oh, is now a good time to ask if we're doing a preview for it?
Probably
Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
So are we not doing a Hawkeye review?
No, we're doing both. It's gonna be a long podcast, probably.
Well, how about that?
My thing is, it's like in 9 days, we're gonna get to see Toby, Andrew, and Tom as Spider-Man in the same movie. Isn't that just weird to say?
I'm buying my tickets either tomorrow or on Friday.
By the way, the Green Goblin, I mean, all the looks. I don't know if you saw this today. There was a TV spot that released, and Doc Ock goes,
Yeah.
"What happened to my machine, Spider-Man?" So, like, again, just confirms, like, how he's from
No,
Toby's.
that face that Green Goblin was making in that TV spot was ugly.
I actually like how they have William Dafoe, like, out of the mask. It's even creepier than it already is.
Yeah, I don't like him without the mask. I think he should put it back on.
Really? He terrifies you.
I think he should put it back on.
Um,
I think
they
I'm gonna
haven't done it.
I think I'm gonna use my time stone again, and I'm gonna go back in time to when they were filming, and I'm gonna tell them put the mask back on.
Put the mask on. But the outfit the outfit looks drip with the mask on. So like I don't like how there's no mask.
I also don't like that it kind of looks like the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, it looks weird. It doesn't look right. Listen, his design is still better than whatever the hell the Amazing Spider-Man was.
Yeah.
Peter. Peter.
I don't like how he says that, by the way, in that movie. How Harry says it, which, by the way, I still haven't watched those movies yet.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny.
I'm probably not going to watch them, honestly.
I need Electro to say to Tom Holland, Tony Stark forgot my birthday. You're gonna pay for this.
Yes.
Man.
I agree.
By the way, I have a question for you, and this will. Oh, can you do the review questions? By the way,
Yeah,
you
of
have a
course.
you have a you have a lot of time on your hands. So, what do you think about Stark Tech in the
Star,
movie? Like,
and no way. I was gonna say like Stark Tech. Like I'm making Stark Tech.
no, no, no. Like in No Way Home, just in general.
Honestly, I was kind of hoping that we'd get away from Tony Stank, but here we are.
Always referencing him in everything.
Everything. Tony Stark is everywhere. Again, you know the audio. You cannot escape Chris Hemsworth. You can. It's the MCU's version of you
You
cannot
literally
escape.
cannot escape Iron Man. He's literally in everything. He's literally been referenced in everything in Phase 4.
Yes. Well, hold on. Was he referenced in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
What was that reference in there? I'm pretty sure there's a reference to Tony.
What was it? What are you thinking?
Oh, is it? Is it when Bucky is talking to the therapist?
No,
What is it?
there is none. I think that might be the only project where he's not even referenced.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, unless you're like counting like the Avengers as a whole.
No, I can't. No, I mean like overt like references. Like when Loki says, "Oh, I could smell the cologne of two Tony Starks." Like
That's not a
that's a
reference. He was in the damn scene. Which let me ask: do you think they got paid for that?
no,
Really?
nah. Stock footage. No.
I'm gonna have to use my time stone and go back.
All right. Do you got anything else to say about Hawkeye this episode, or any predictions for the next couple weeks?
I am Iron Man.
Okay. My hope is that the show picks up at a reasonable pace, but doesn't go too fast. I feel like the next two episodes are going to be close to an hour. Um, but I'm excited to see possibly Kingpin, maybe Elena again, kind of get us setup of the Rolex, what's going on there. I'm excited for some things. I hope the show gets a little bit better for me. It's kind of been mid, in my opinion, mediocre, but I've still enjoyed it. Still really liked it. Alex disagrees with me because he's a biased Hawkeye fan, just like I'm a biased Loki fan, and that's okay. We all have our opinions.
The best MCU show has been made. How can you consciously live with yourself and say that?
Because Loki's the best. I sleep very well at night knowing Loki's the
That's how you're telling yourself.
It's okay, Alex. I know your character doesn't have any superpowers, but it's okay.
Exactly. That's what makes you so much better.
Okay. That's touche. Um I
We
didn't
got
write any
toxic fan over here.
I didn't write any smaller topics down. So Alex, do you have anything else you want to talk about in the world of Star Wars or Marvel or anything like that?
Book of Boba Fett looks disappointing.
I totally disagree. So that TV spot was pretty good. What is happening right now? I have no idea. Listen, on
I'm
my
looking.
sports broadcast, we had I had the worst sports broadcast ever, and then today Take Two is just Jesus Christ, this isn't Take Two. It's Wars and the Stars. It's all over the place again.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. This is on your underground podcast. That's what you think I am?
no, no, that's not true. That's not true.
No,
That's
no,
not true. That's impossible.
no, no, no,
Um,
no, no, no.
I'm kind of done if you are, Alex. Like, I don't feel like talking about Boba Fett or anything like that.
You're done.
I'm done. We're done. Are
You're
we done
done.
though?
No, just you are.
Do you have anything to talk about?
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, guys, that's going to do it for Wars in the Stars episode 46. We talked about Hawkeye, talked about Spider-Man. Yeah, I know we didn't do our smaller topics, but those projects are coming. We're busy. We don't have time to talk about all that all the time. So that's going to do it for us. May the force be with you all, and I hope you stay burdened with glorious purpose.
I have